Time Warner Cable and Metro Sports presents RacinBoys TV with Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott. A look at racing in the Midwest and around the country. Brought to you in part by McCarthy Chevrolet and RacinBoys.com.
Welcome everyone to RacinBoys TV, brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet. I'm Scott Traylor along with Kirk Elliott. We are back out at Kansas Speedway, Kirk, and one of the things that we haven't talked about on previous shows is what is going to be happening out here before Cup weekend, before the Cup practice. The ARCA guys are going to be making the first laps out here in September.
Yeah, and of course, there's going to have to be extensive tire tests. They come out here with brand new pavement, and so everything has got to be done in plenty of time. So what are we looking at? Maybe early September to see the ARCA guys out here, and then later the NASCAR Sprint Cup drivers will be out here to do their tire tests for Goodyear.
You know, a lot of our local guys raced out here in ARCA the first few years Kansas Speedway was open, and I'm sure there's a lot of us that are pretty excited about the new paving job they have out here and all the banking. I know myself, I'd love to get back out here on this racetrack, and I'm sure that some of our regional guys, as well as maybe some guys that haven't raced in ARCA before. We know Cody Agler, he's talked about how he'd like to run in ARCA. This might be a great opportunity for him with this new pavement.
And when you mention ARCA, I can't help but remember last fall, the first night race here at Kansas Speedway involved the ARCA Racing Series, and what a different feel out here with these lights on here at Kansas Speedway. And eventually the NASCAR Sprint Cup drivers will be here racing under the lights. When that'll happen, I don't know, but it's coming.
The banking is cool. It looks like it's going to be really fast, and I can't wait to see the first cars make laps around this really fast mile-and-a-half intermediate track. All right, we're going to get into what we do each and every week. It is the Racing Headlines, and here's this week's report by Kirk.
Friday night at Lakeside Speedway, Grand National driver Gary Donaldson celebrated an emotional win, his 6th of the year and first since last month's controversial crash.
This one's big. This is real big to get back in victory lane. I had tears in my eyes going down back straightaway. My sister Renee's birthday, it just felt so good. You know, I had to do the bow like Kyle Busch on victory lane there.
After Scotty Moore and Factory Stocks and Gene Claxton and B-Mods also won features, Darren Fuqua captured his second modified win of 2012.
I know Morant was right behind me. He loves the top side. And then Agler was in third, and he was running the bottom. So I didn't think the middle would work too good. So I ran the first lap on the high side and then moved down to the bottom, and we got the win.
Also on Friday at Valley Speedway, Midwest Lightning sprints without wings, and it's Richard Lane making a dramatic last lap pass of Bo Havelo. In the Premier Valley Sprint Car class, Joshua Stevens charges from 19th starting position and wins going away. Tyler Nelson in 600cc and David Rafferty in Midwest Mod Lights also victorious. Saturday night at Valley is stock car night, and A-Mods were taught by Jim Moody as points leader Dean Willey finishes 4th in a plume of smoke. Street stock capped off the evening with a 40-lap main event. Brian Ziegler takes the checkered flag. Saturday night at LA Raceway east of Sedalia, sprint cars on the card. Watch this battle between Lauren Clem in the light-colored 2 and Mitchell Moore in the yellow 51, who has been virtually unbeatable at this track in the 305 class. But on this night, Clem would not be denied. Look at her holding back Moore off turn 2. He'll try it again in turn 3, this time on the inside, but to no avail. Lauren Clem has the momentum and takes it on home for her second win at LA Raceway.
I just had to stay smooth and stay focused. I didn't want to drive the car too hard because it was real dry, slick out. Didn't want to spin the tires, but I just had to stay smooth and focused to beat Mitchell, but I did it. It was awesome.
Moore would not go home empty-handed. In the wingless auto racing feature, he dominates and becomes the 8th different WAR winner in 9 races.
Oh, it couldn't have happened on a better night. You know, we went to Green Valley last night and had a throttle spring come off, and I thought I could drive it anyway. And I guess, you know, that was stupid because I ended up putting it in the wall and end over end down the front stretch and destroyed the car. So it was a late night for us, me and Kelly, my car owner, man. I owe it all to him. You know, we stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning. And it might have even been 4:30, and he got up at 7. I got up at like 9:30, something like that, and we just worked our butts off to put this car together. And you know, it's taking the soreness away because, you know, that it was a pretty wild ride, and I was pretty sore after that one, but I'm feeling pretty good right now. And like you said, man, it would have been cool to win 2 sprint car races in one night, but I got beat by a girl.
23, Brian Bell leads early, and favorite Jonathan Cornell has trouble in the Speedway Motors Warrior Region main event. Tim Crowley in the 88 is a man on a mission and taking the top prize back to Arkansas.
It's kind of a last-minute deal. We agreed to really tighten the car up and hope that it would just stay slick. If it took much rubber, we'd have been in trouble. But as it played out, everybody just kind of got to hugging the bottom and dragging dust out into the racetrack. It got really slick, and our car was really nice.
Again, congratulations to all the winners from RacinBoys TV here on Time Warner Cable's Metro Sports. And Kirk, we were talking a little bit earlier in the opening segment here that a lot of young drivers got their opportunity to really race on the big tracks here at Kansas Speedway early in the 2000s. But we've got a couple of young drivers that are cutting their teeth up at I-35 Speedway.
And one of those drivers comes from Humiston, Iowa. Just a couple of years ago, he was doing big things in the Sport Mod division. In his very first season last year in the IMCA Modified division, he won right out of the gate. And year two, he's doing equally as well with a handful of victories and running at the top of the point standings. When we come back, we'll visit with Shay Woods and also one of the familiar names at I-35 Speedway, Cory Wray. That's all coming up next on RacinBoys TV.
Okay, let's choose up. I'll take Jamal and Tutal. You can have Chubbs and Skippy. Let's go. My ball.
Okay, but you got skins.
Not a good negotiator? You don't have to be a good negotiator at McCarthy Chevrolet. McCarthy guarantees the lowest prices on a new Chevy or we'll pay you $10,000. We guarantee there's no need to shop anyplace else. McCarthy Chevrolet, I-35 and Santa Fe, Olathe.
Welcome back to RacinBoys TV on Time Warner Cable, brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet. We're in the pits at I-35 Speedway, where we're going to visit with a couple of young stars in the IMCA Modified division. Shay Woods out of Humiston, Iowa is just 2 years removed from winning a championship in the IMCA Sport Mod division. He has made his presence felt in a big way here the last two seasons.
This new 2012 Victory chassis has been real great to us, and KSE Engineering, they've been real great too. But we do have 3 DNFs also on the year. Rolled 1 year or 1 weekend and just been pretty rough, but we do have three wins. Yep, we did get the car upside down in the heat race actually. I was on the inside and we wasn't quite sure on what happened, but somebody got into my right rear and then went off the end of the track. Well, modifieds are definitely a lot faster. I mean, I wanted to get up into the classes quite a bit. We had sponsors pushing me quite a bit too, wanting to put me up into a bigger class. So, I mean, we were all game for it. We kind of got together, talked about some financial issues, and got that all straightened out, and we made her happen. I mean, there's quite a bit more expense in, the traveling series, USMTS cars. So yeah, that's why you tend to stay with IMCA. I mean, there's a lot more motor in it. You do have to drive the car differently. It's different, but I got the hang of it, I think. I'd move up as much as I could, I mean, these IMCA modifieds, they're fun, but, if some person wanted to come along, give me an opportunity, I'd love it. All my sponsors are great, every single one of them. Dale Farms, Twin Oak Timber, Dale Farming Company, all of them. I mean, they helped me out tremendously, and I can't say thank you enough, When I do have troubles on the track, they do come through and, and help me out.
Well, Shay Woods is a prime example of the good young talent of racers coming through to keep this sport alive, and I-35 Speedway certainly in good hands with young drivers like Shay Woods. Well, families are a big factor here in any kind of racing, and the Ray family is certainly a big part of the history here at I-35 Speedway. And Cory Wray, another one of the young stars in the IMCA Modified division, carrying forward in the footsteps of his dad, Dean Ray, who's also still winning races here at I-35.
Yeah, my dad, he's raced for, I don't know, it started in the 80s probably, and I got a car whenever I was 15, won a few races, and finally got back up to where we could afford to do it every weekend. Oh, I like the IMCA stuff a lot better. It kind of keeps a cap on everybody where you can, where it just puts it more in the driver's hands, I think, than going to the open stuff. I mean, there's a lot of good drivers in that stuff too, but we're all competing with pretty much the same equipment. They put a cap on us to where we're all pretty on a pretty good playing field. Yeah, I mean, heck, I think we start usually 18 guys every week, and all these guys, they've stepped up their game where you know, they're all hard to get around. You know, they're all fast and they're all good guys to race with, and it's just tough. You know, I mean, a lot of us got the same stuff and racing. You know, pretty much every car out here, except for a couple, are house bought. You know, are bought in cars. You know, where they got a lot of technology behind them, and you know, we just kind of take what we get, not tear up a bunch of stuff, and come back the next week and try it again. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I told myself I was just going to come out and try to win races. You know, not tear up a bunch of equipment. You know, we're leading the points again right now, but it's way early in the season. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to come every weekend to win, and you know. It's, you know, whenever you get tied up in a points battle, it's hard to do, but it's just like last year, it was just almost like a second job, you know, trying to worry about points and calculate them in your head while you're trying to race. And it just takes all the fun out of racing to me, you know. And if you win one, you win one, but just don't focus on it because you get mad and everybody gets burnt out and they don't want to come racing with you, and, you know, you lose help that way. Oh yeah, I mean it means a lot whenever you do that, and whenever you go to the car banquet at the end of the year and you're recognized in front of all those people. It means a lot, and you know, and you get to go up across that stage with, you know, I can't even think of it right off the top of my head who's there. You know, Kerry Davis's and my dad's. You know, he's won the points championship here before in 2 different classes, and 3 different classes probably, and. It's just, you know, all them names of those guys down there that I've looked up to since I've been started racing, and it's just, it really meant a lot to me. Yeah, it's pretty good, and we just we bought a new vinyl machine and started doing some wraps and stuff like that. So it's been pretty good. Oh, this is where I, you know, cut my teeth. I started racing here like I said, when I was 15 years old, and you know, I've took a few weeks off here and there, but you know, pretty much week in and week out, that's where I come. So I mean. I know the racetrack. The racetrack's, you know, usually pretty good. You know, you'll have some nights where it's rough and, you know, and stuff like that. But slicker the better for me, so it'll come along.
Thanks to Cory Wray and Shay Woods for joining us on this edition of RacinBoys TV. When we come back, we're going to talk about one of the big Saturday nights of all of 2012. It's the Kaster family celebration this weekend. We're going to visit with Buz Kaster next. Don't go away.
Okay, let's choose up. I'll take Jamal and Tutal. You can have Chubbs and Skippy. Let's go. My ball.
Okay. But you got skins.
Not a good negotiator? You don't have to be a good negotiator at McCarthy Chevrolet. McCarthy guarantees the lowest prices on a new Chevy or we'll pay you $10,000. We guarantee there's no need to shop anyplace else. McCarthy Chevrolet, I-35 and Santa Fe, Olathe.
Missouri State Fair Speedway roars back into life Sunday, August 19th for the 2012 Missouri State Championships. Join me, Brian Brown, driver of the Casey's General Store FVP Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps number 21 Sprint Car as ASCS Speedway Motors Warrior Region 360 Sprint Cars take to the historic half mile to race for the prestigious win. Drivers will battle it out during the final swing of the 3 nights for the Tompkins Industries Mo Can Shootout presented by Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps and Impact4800.com. Gates open at 4:30 with hot laps hitting the track at 5:30 and heat races starting at 6 o'clock. The ASCS Speedway Motors Warrior Region Sprints will also be joined by the Lucas Oil MLRA Late Models and A Modifieds. One big show with 3 big classes. Don't miss a minute of the action. Adult admission is $18 with seniors and military $15 and kids 6 to 12 only $8. For tickets, visit mostatefair.com or visit MissouriStateFairSpeedway.com for race information.
Welcome back to RacinBoys TV, brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet here on Time Warner Cable's Metro Sports. We're going to step back in time a little bit in this segment. We're going to be talking to a guy that was the first driver to ever drive an IMCA modified outside of the state of Missouri. His dad was the legendary Larry Kaster, who was the first promoter to promote an IMCA race outside of the state of Iowa. He was the promoter of Riverside Stadium back in the day and wrapped up his years in promoting at I-35 Speedway and Bethany Speedway up at the old fairgrounds. We had a chance to go up to I-35 and talk to Buz about his family, their involvement in motorsports, and what I-35 means to the Kaster family.
It's a very special night for myself and my mom and the whole family. We have quite a few come down from Iowa. That's where we're from, and my parents are from. And it's a very, very special night. We come up here and race before he got the track, and he was kind of itching to get back into promoting, and so he leased the track and built a strong foundation up here, and not only with the drivers but with the fans too. And he knew all the people like at Walmart and Cameron and all the people in these small towns. He would do all the shopping up around here, for supplies for the track and stuff. And he really enjoyed it up here. He enjoyed like I say, the racers, the fans, and just the people in the general area. He was able to see in the future. For some reason, he was a visionary, and he could see in the future. And it started clear back when he brought the street stocks. He brought the street stocks to Kansas City and built that class first of all. And racing was getting out of hand, car counts were down, and he just had an act to see into the future for some reason. And he seen it, car counts dwindling, and he had built the street stock class up, and he just thought the modified class would be a good class to bring down, and it worked out good for him. I mean, you can see what the modifieds have done in this, all over the United States now. And it started in Iowa, and then he was the first one to bring him down to the Kansas City area. He was a hands-on guy, accessible in the pits at any time, and just loved. A lot of racers thought he was grumpy and this and that, and he would discipline you if you needed to be, and several guys later on, be 10, 15 years, would be somewhere at a trade show or whatever, and they'd come up and they'd say, "Larry, that was the best thing you done to me 15 years ago, is when you kicked me out for a week or so." And he said it taught me more in life than a lot of other things. So, and I think he was just very, very well liked by the racers, and more so than what he thought. I think that he was actually very well liked, and I think that's why he was just successful. The main person you see will of course be my mom, and a lot of people that came back in the day knew that she worked the ticket. A lot of them come up, and it just tickles the death out of her when they come up and say, "Hi Dixie, how you doing?" And she likes to sit right out in the stands, and when we're down on the track, she'll say, "I see so-and-so, I see so-and-so," and she just really enjoys it. The whole family enjoys it. I would say the story that probably sticks in my mind is that, and I did not know it until he had finally retired from racing, when he would he would give money to people that weren't competitive every week, and he would tell them that if you tell anybody that I done this, I'll never do it again for you. And I did not know all those years around the tracks. I did not know that, and I just got the biggest kick out of that he would do that for people. And that's kind of on carb nights. I think Carb gives away an award on carb nights at the local tracks for kind of what he did on that, and that's very, very special to our family also. It was his manner. Whenever you seen someone riding out in the parking lot on his little old golf cart that barely ran and smoked and everything else, then he was out in the parking lot chewing your rear end out, and he would never do it in front of people. That wasn't the way to do things. He thought he would always, there was a lot of guys that were very upset with him, but they ended up becoming very good friends with him.
Well, you can look in the eyes of Buz Kaster, and you can tell that he is the son of the legendary promoter Larry Kaster. What a great family and dear friends of the RacinBoys, and we miss Larry so much. Dixie, it's always good to see you out at the racetrack as well. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Darrin Christy, a guy that is a huge supporter of the Central Auto Racing Boosters, as well as a standout driver in the local Kansas City area. We'll be back with more of RacinBoys TV here in a moment.
As your power steering pump ages, seal leaks may occur, causing the power steering system to lose fluid. Your power steering system may also develop an annoying squeal, and the steering may become more difficult to handle. By using Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak, you will stop the seal leaks, reduce slack in rack and pinions, eliminate the squeals and hard spots in your power steering system. It is guaranteed to stop seal leaks or your money back. Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak. It works.
Welcome back to Racing Boys TV, brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet here on Time Warner Cable's Metro Sports. Darrin Christy is a guy that most people call bear stock. Most people don't even call him Darrin. He is a standout driver. He's been racing for over 25 years. Him and his dad have been great supporters of the local racing community, helping Lakeside with their efforts at cleaning up after the flood last year, as well as their hard work with the Central Auto Racing Boosters. We had a chance to talk to Darrin just a little bit earlier out at Valley Speedway, and this is that conversation.
We got Lakeside, then Valley, and I-35 this year's carb tracks. You know, of course, we lost CMS, and it pretty much entails that people can buy a membership. They can get in free at the next three, you know, the next year for all three tracks. We have a lot of functions throughout the year. The bowl-a-thon. We have the Snake Saturday, the carb golf tournament, and this year we're going to have a automotive swap meet and auction at Lakeside Speedway in October, and we're raising money for the Hall of Fame, trying to get the permanent building location, and so we're just, you know, raising money for it right now. It's October 27th at Lakeside. It's after the week after NASCAR weekend, and we're, like I said, we're having a big auction that day. It's an anything and everything auction. We're trying to get donations right now for it, and we'll auction off about anything. We're going to also do a swap meet, and the swap meet's going to basically be automotive, but we are looking into, we want to have a vendor space for like women's stuff, you know, so, you know, because guys bring their wives and girlfriends, you know, there's stuff for them too. We'll have concession stands out there. All the money from all three, the concession, the auction, and the swap meet, is going to carb and for the Hall of Fame building. So just, you know, going to try to make it a big event, and, you know, build off of this year and hopefully make it bigger for next year. Basically, we're just, you know, right now we're in the planning stages to find a building and raise the money to have the permanent home. Our plan is long-term on the building is to have our meetings there, our general membership meetings there, our banquets there, and basically just try to get it built. And as far as the Lakeside flood deal, everybody was missing Lakeside, and, you know, we got in 7 races, I believe, last year. But yeah, just, you know, it was a Friday night deal for everybody, and they was missing it after the flood hit. And yeah, as far as, you know, just the volunteers and stuff, people wanted to see it back this year, and so they just really, you know, stepped up to help get it going. Having fun this year. We decided just to run partial schedule with both cars. I have an IMCA hobby stock I'm running too, and I haven't got it out as much as I'd like, but yeah, it's been a fun year. I'm not racing every week, so it's been kind of relaxing to know that after 1 week, you know, I can take a week off, you know, and not have to be in the shop every night. I did that for 29 years, and I just, you know, didn't want to really dedicate it, you know, myself that much to it this year. But yes, did win one. I didn't know I'd win the second one, so it surprised me. But it's been going pretty good. We did have to change motors a week or so ago and put another motor in it, but, you know, that's part of it. So I kind of copied Tracy Schaefer up at Heartland Park. I seen it on his car last year, and I thought, man, that's the neatest thing I've ever seen. And so I copied it, and I said, man, we got to do something for the TV cameras. Metro Sports is out there. I just want to look different, you know. I've always had the cartoon character on my car for the kids, and I said, you know, let's put some 4-inch white walls on it just to look different, and boy, it does stand out. When I first started, it was 3 nights a week, every weekend, you know. I had to be driving. I couldn't really watch them. And as I've gotten older, you know, I still have the passion. Like I said, not as much the dedication, but I still have the passion. And now it's like I'll run on Friday and maybe once in a while on Saturday. But, you know, if there's a race 4 or 5 nights a week, I'd be there. So yeah, I work all week and I live to go to the races the next weekend, whether I'm driving or not. So I'd like to support all the area tracks and you know, so I'll hit a race whenever there's a race going on. I'm fortunate enough to do that.
Well, there's Darren Christie, a guy that most people around this area call Bear, a great guy, great supporter of motorsports for years and years, as well as his family. He's been a successful driver from all the way back in the early 80s, the early IMCA modified days. He wins a lot of street stock races out at Lakeside Speedway each and every year. And his involvement with the Central Auto Racing Boosters, Kirk, and what he does for the Hall of Fame is second to none.
Well, he's not racing as much as he used to, as he's kind of winding down his driving career. But you know what? He's still a big race fan. I saw him down at a sprint car race at California, Missouri a couple of years ago. When he's not driving a car, he's being a great race fan. And what a big supporter the Christie family has been to racing, not just Lakeside Speedway, but racing all over this area.
Yeah, we need more people like Darrin Christy in our sport. Well, that wraps up another show of Racing Boys TV. We'll see you next week right here on Time Warner Cable's Metro Sports.